Hello everybody, this is Captain Tom again. I'm a U.S. Coast Guard Master Mariner Captain, and today we're going to be talking about the Mini Globe Race 2025 and one of the first challenges that they will be seeing and multiple times on their journey. You know, the Horns, Cape Horn and Cape of Good Hope get all of the attention when it comes to nasty weather on the circumnavigations, and a lot of it is because you're transiting from one ocean to another, and of course you're at higher latitudes, southern latitudes, and they're notorious for their stormy weather, which they certainly are. And politically, it's more important for us because we're transiting from one ocean to another. But for small boats under sail with minimum freshwater and fuel, there could be something even more challenging, and that's what I want to talk about today. So if you like this content and you want to get more of this as this race goes along, please be sure to punch that subscribe button and the like button and get the notifications, and you'll get everything for free. So let's get right into it. So what is this challenge that doesn't get any of the credit? Well, it's something called the Intertropical Convergence Zone, or the ITCZ. Lots of times we just call it the itch. It doesn't get any of the credit because it doesn't really demark any oceans, doesn't even really land at the equator very often, but it's something that circumnavigators have to go through whenever they go from one hemisphere to another. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about what causes that and what you see when you get there and why it's a challenge for especially small boats. While mariners have had to deal with this for millennia, the reality is that this has been highly classified military intelligence for most of history. So think about that. So I could probably show you a bunch of diagrams and show you meteorologically what happens, but I'm a mariner, so I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go right into showing you exactly what it looks like and give you some interpretation of why it happens. So if you go out here, you can go out yourself right to a website called earth.nullschool.net, and this is created by NOAA, which is a function of the U.S. government, and in this particular version of representation, it will show you the winds of the entire globe at any time, real time. So if you look closely here is a diagram or a representation of the convergence zone from Central America over to Hawaii. If you look up in the upper left, you'll see Hawaii. Up in the upper right, you will see Mexico. But you'll notice that there's a very defined area where the trade winds from the north and the south come together. And then there's this band where it seemingly is relatively calm. Now the itch occurs both in the Pacific and the Atlantic, but I see that they are going through the Panama Canal. But they will still need to cross it twice on their departure and return somewhere in order to get to the southern hemisphere and back on their return. So let's look at this. So this is actually the same area. If you recall back to your school days, if you had English literature, it was made famous with the poem The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And I'm just going to repeat a little piece of that poem because it really well describes what it's like. And that is, day after day after day, we stuck, nor breath nor motion, as idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. So this lends itself to not just this area, not just be called the itch, but also it's called the doldrums, and also called the horse latitudes. Well, the horse latitudes came from the fact that when the Spanish galleons would cross, they would have horses with them, and they would end up eating the horses as they were becalmed for sometimes weeks at a time. Now this area is known not only for its calm particularly at certain times of the year, but also for its very violent storms. You get many frequent storms per day, very, very violent, lots of lightning, lots of wind, and then absolute calm in between them. For a small sailing boat that is only powered by the sail, has limited fuel and fresh water, this can be a mighty, mighty challenge. So you have your sails up completely, trying to catch any breath of wind. The next thing you know, you have to take them all down because of a bad storm, and then you got to put them all back up again. And it's seemingly like you're going nowhere. One of the fascinating things about the itch is that north of the itch, you will see that your storms, your low pressures, rotate counterclockwise, and south of the itch, the low pressures will rotate clockwise. And the only other thing I'll add as a rule of thumb is that generally you want to try to cross the itch in March or April to minimize the storms. However, that does not alleviate the calm part of it. And that's sometimes can be just as big of a challenge in planning for fuel and especially under sail alone, fresh water. For those of us on the big vessels, we just slug right through it, and it's not a big deal. If you're on a small boat with very limited resources, it can be a big problem. Now, today, we have all sorts of satellite information and ways to find wind that certainly back in the ancient times that was not available. That helps out, but it still is still something that must be dealt with, and we'll watch it as it evolves on the mini globe race. So this is just one piece of the puzzle that the planners of the regatta have to consider and the mariners have to deal with. I'll have more later about trade winds and currents and all those other things that are major factors as well. If there are any comments or questions about anything, please let me know in the comment section below. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please punch that subscribe button and get your notifications, and the like also helps it so that this gets some visibility in the YouTube algorithm. We want to have lots of people see this fleet and a very epic journey around the world. So thanks for watching, and especially good luck, fair winds and dry bilges to our friends in the Mini Globe Race 2025.